What's happening, everybody? It's Sean with reactions to the classics, and today we got a top 10 of Irish artists brought to us by our friend, longtime supporter and patron of the channel, Richard. Thank you, Richard. Always appreciate you. Appreciate all the things that all our patrons bring. If you'd like to support us in any way, check out the Patreon link below or the patron link on the end screen. We wouldn't be able to do this channel without them. Richard says the first video I had done by yourselves was Irish indie music a couple years ago, but this only has one song off that list, but as a live version. Hope you enjoy, and I've obviously done the research for this list, and a lot of artists on here that are fantastic. So if you've never watched one of our videos before, the music will not be in the video, but it will be at a Vimeo link below. I invite you to follow along with us. Let's kick this thing off with We Don't Need Nobody Else from Whipping Boy off the Heartworm album in 1995. I actually did a full album reaction to this album for Richard, so search for that when you're done watching this one. It is a fantastic album, but I've unfortunately never been able to go back and listen to it, so I don't even know if I'll remember this song. Whipping Boy formed in Dublin in 1988. The band comprising Fergal McKee on vocals, Paul Page on guitar, Miles McDonald on bass and vocals, and Colm Hassett on drums. They had 3 studio albums. They received much critical acclaim, with AllMusic calling this an earth-shatteringly powerful experience, this album. So you see it below on Spotify, but we're actually going to watch a video for it. Thanks again, Richard. We Don't Need Nobody Else. I do remember this song just in the fact that it had a Bono shout out, but I mean, I didn't remember the song. So it's a great song. Like I said, I did this whole album. It's about a year ago already. It's a great album. Great performance. Fergal was real low key, and then he just went out in the audience. Weird, the studio, right? Because it's just flat. There's not a stage. He walks out, kind of gets in people's faces. I liked it, man. With this Panda Bear shirt that you can see there. It was great, but really well done. Really well performed. He's got a great voice, man. Like I said, I kind of forgot about Whipping Boy. It was a great album, so a fantastic way to start this list off. Next up, we have Clannad. I hope I'm saying that right. Clannad and Bono in a Lifetime from the McCullough album in 1985. Let's say Clannad's 8th studio album. If I'm saying it wrong, I'm sorry. They were formed in 1970. The song was written by brothers Paul Brennan and Ciaran Brennan. Probably messing all this up, guys, but you know how that goes. Single was released in January 1986, the 3rd single from the album. It's one of their most successful songs, and it remains as Bono's most successful solo effort. Well, 5 in Ireland, 17 in the UK. They had already written most of the lyrics for the song and recorded a backing track when the group asked Bono if he would collaborate with them on the recording. The first time the group had allowed an outside artist to join them in recording one of their tracks. Remember, I just said they were founded in 1970, and this is 1985. The track was recorded over 2 nights at Windmill Lane Studios in Dublin. After the first evening's recording session was completed, an electrical storm raged through the night, which inspired many of the artists to bring extra lyrics and ideas for the track to the following day's session, with Paul Brennan explaining that could be Paul with just an O, I don't know, that he had stayed up much of the night writing. The second day's recording saw Bono improvise some of his lyrics and vocal style to suit the song, completing his contribution in 2 takes. The recording session, as Moya Brennan remembers, was, quote, one of the most remarkable things I've ever seen in a studio. In a Lifetime, very well done little call and response. Bono sounds really good on it. Just, it's a love song. Hard to tell or recognize a sign to see me through, a warning sign. First, the thunder. So maybe that was inspired by the storm the night before. Satisfied if the past, it will not lie. Then the storm torn asunder. So it has to be, kind of from that storm. The future and I get blown away. And as the rain, it falls heavy in my heart. Begin again as the storm breaks through. Believe the light in you, so the light shines in you. So unless the sound is faded from your soul, unless it disappears. And selfish storm, hold on the inside. One life in the storm, in a lifetime. So well done there. Nice horns, great arrangement. And it might not be Bono's last appearance on this list. Who knows? Next up, we have Therapy with Die Laughing off the Trouble Gum album in 1994. Their 4th studio album. They're formed in 1989. 15 studio albums together and are still together. And it went to 29 in the UK, 14 in Ireland. You got Andy Carnes on vocals and guitars, Fife Hewing on drums, Michael McKeegan on bass. Let's do it. Therapy, Die Laughing. Love that sound, man. Love the Andy's vocals, the guitar work on there, just the instrumental. I just loved the way this thing just slapped, man. It was a great song. I don't know what it was about. Man's going insane. He can't remember his name. He'd kill for a good night's sleep. But yeah, man, I enjoyed that a lot. Next up at number 7, we got Phil Lynott. Although I've always wanted to say Lynott, but it's Phil Lynott, Old Town, from the Philip Lynott album in 1982, his second and final solo album. Includes a piano playing of Darren Wharton, the keyboard player from Thin Lizzy. It was the first record to be officially played on Irish legal independent radio, Dublin's Capital Radio 104.4 on its launch on July 20th, 1989. Quite the distinction. Went to number 46 in the Netherlands. Old Town. What a song, man. What a song. I just love Phil's voice. So good, man. The whole arrangement of it. The piano playing by Darren Wharton was fantastic. I just, yeah, man. I mean, it's a story as old as Father Time, right? The girl has left him and he's cracking up, man. He just can't take it, man. He's walking around the town. So, yeah, man, just a really good choice there. Now we're to number 6. You see it below. The Great Cranberries, man. I'm still remembering from the To the Faithful Departed album in 1996, their third album. I remember I listened to this album for our album drop. I don't remember. I've done a full album reaction to their first album. Their second album's awesome. This one was partly inspired by the death of Kurt Cobain. They said in 1995, it's kind of sad how, sometimes when people die, you expect there to be a silence, but there wasn't a silence. You know what RIP means? It means rest in peace. And I suppose it's kind of sad because nobody seemed to want to let it be. Everybody was just like, boom. It's just a big media thing. So it's kind of sad. All right. I'm still remembering the Cranberries. Look, whenever I just hear Dolores' voice, it's just like the best part of Irish that I can possibly think of. Like, it's just so good. I just so love her voice. It's so emotive. It's so powerful. And I believe everything that she's saying. She said, I'm still remembering the day I gave my life away. I'm still remembering the time you said you'd be mine. Yesterday was cold and bare because you were not there. Yesterday was cold. My story has been told. Then later on, she talks about Kurt Cobain. She talks about JFK. Where are you now? Where are you now? I say, where are you now? I need your affection all the way. Just a fantastic choice. And definitely on board for this being on the top 10. Well, as we get to the top half of the list, you see it below. We got the Dubliners and the Pogues. The Irish Rovers from the 25-year celebration from the Dubliners. Number 1 in Ireland, number 8 in the UK. It's an Irish folk song about a magnificent, though improbable sailing ship that reaches an unfortunate end. It has been recorded by numerous artists, some of whom have made changes to the lyrics over time. It describes a gigantic ship, try saying that fast, right? With 23 masts. Versions by the Dubliners and the Pogues claim 27, so we're going a little extra here. A colorful crew and varied types of cargo in enormous amounts. The verses grow successfully more extravagant about the wonders of the great ship. The 7-year voyage culminates in a disastrous end after the ship suffers a measles outbreak, killing all but the narrator and the captain's dog. The ship then strikes a rock, turning 9 times around and sinking. The captain's dog drowns, in the incident, and the narrator is the only survivor, the last of the Irish rover, leaving no one else alive to contradict the tale. Authorship is in much dispute. Give me a little Shane McGowan. I'm always on board. We're going to watch a video for this one. The Dubliners and the Pogues. The Irish Rover, what a jam, man. What is great seeing that live, man. Just the jam of it all. Shane's over there puffing on a heater before they even start, man. And then he's just out there delivering it, man, in their suits and just kind of a disarming way, just kind of a chilled way. What a great story. I mean, I already told you what it was about at the start, so I'm going to end there. But getting to see the live version of that added to it immensely. So good call by Richard on that one. Next up, we got Sinead O'Connor at number 4. The song Mandika off The Lion and the Cobra in 1987, 17 in the UK, 6 in Ireland, 1 on the dance charts. It's about the entrapments of coming of age and the problems that come associated with it. In an interview in 1988, Sinead said, Mandikas are an African tribe. They're mentioned in a book called Roots by Alex Haley, an absolute classic book and a classic miniseries in the 70s, which is what the song is about. In order to understand it, you must read the book. It's a very big book, boys and girls. We'll just try to interpret it here. Mandika, Sinead O'Connor. I'm not going to break down the lyrics just because, like she said, they're a little veiled, but such a powerful singer. This is from her debut album, which did appear. I can't remember if I put it at 5 or right the top honorable mention for me during 1987 when it came out. But Sinead's so talented, and unfortunately, she's remembered in most of the world for ripping up the picture of the Pope alive on Saturday Night Live, and it clouds her entire career, and people don't look past her to realize how absolutely talented she was. So a great choice here at number 4. All right, we're to the top 3, and an artist I don't know. I don't know these next 2 artists, actually. We got Gilbert O'Sullivan, Alone Again, Naturally, from the Himself album, all the way back in 1971, my birth year. It was released in 1972 at the same time as, but not included on his album, Back to Front, and it was a popular hit. Between late July and early September 1972 in America, the single spent 6 non-consecutive weeks at number 1 on Billboard's Hot 100, interrupted by 3 Dog Nights, Black and White, and ranked number 2 in the year-end chart behind Roberta Flack's The First Time I Ever Saw Your Face. Number 1 in Canada, number 2 in Australia, number 3 in the UK. So I'm wondering when I hear this song if I'll know it, even though, I mean, a song that was that well acclaimed, the #2 song of the year, surely I've come across it somewhere in my early lifetime. It's a melancholy, introspective ballad. In the first verse, the singer contemplates suicide after having been left in the lurch at a church. So I guess he got left at the altar. In the second, he wonders if there is a God. Finally, he laments the death of his parents. O'Sullivan has said that the song is not autobiographical. Tough to write a song like that, right, without any personal connection, but I guess he did it. There was a copyright lawsuit it was a copyright case heard by the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York. It pitted O'Sullivan against Biz Markie, the late Biz Markie, after the rapper sampled this song. The court ruled that sampling without permission can be copyright infringement. The judgment changed the hip-hop industry, requiring that music sampling be pre-approved by the original copyright owners to avoid a lawsuit. So this is one of the, I don't want to put a number, but top lawsuits in the history of the music industry, because before this, hip-hop artists or rap artists were just sampling whatever they wanted. This meant they had to ask permission or get sued, and it definitely changed the game. Gilbert O'Sullivan, Alone Again Naturally. I did not know this song, but what a beautiful song. So well done. He just talked about getting left at the altar. He went and climbed to a tower and was going to jump off, basically to show people how it felt, but he was left alone again naturally. So yeah, a really well done song. I looked, he's still alive. He's 75 years old, about to be 76 at the time he films, but he released an album this year that I'm filming this July of 2022, released his 20th studio album and received the best reviews he'd had in over 50 years and went into the UK album chart at number 26. And also an interesting thing, especially since this song is Alone Again Naturally, he purposely avoided dating at the peak of his career. He feared that doing so would inhibit his songwriting ability. He did eventually get married in 1980, but this man was not going to let anything get in the way of his craft. Next up, we have Paul Brady, The Island from Back to the Center album in 1985. It features Kenny Craddock on piano. The only other instrument is a guitar solo by Phil Palmer. The start of the song compares the tragic events of the Lebanese Civil War with the troubles in Northern Ireland in the 1980s. We are going to watch a live performance of this one. Wow, The Island, Paul Brady. What a powerful performance, right? You just felt the emotion in it. And I mean, it's what I said. I mean, it's the subject matter is very deep. They say the skies of Lebanon are burning, those mighty cedars bleeding in the heat. They're showing pictures on the television, women and children dying in the streets. I remember this. I was 11 years old. The whole Lebanon conflict was happening. Women and children dying in the streets, and we're still at it in our own place, still trying to reach the future through the past, still trying to carve tomorrow from a tombstone. But hey, don't listen to me. This wasn't meant to be no sad song. I've sang too much of that before. Right now, I only want to be there with you till the morning dew comes falling. I want to take you to the island. He wants to take her off. They're raising banners over by the markets, witch doctors praying for a mighty showdown. The way a holy flag is going to fall up here, we sacrifice our children to feed the worn out dreams of yesterday and teach them dying will lead us into glory. I thought that was the most powerful. I mean, this song is masterfully written. So didn't know anything from Paul Brady, but great choice here. And was there any doubt of what Richard's #1 Irish artist was going to be? It's just kind of got to be U2, right? Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me. It's from the Batman Forever soundtrack in 1995. It was the #1 single in their home country of Ireland, as well as in 7 other countries, 2 in the UK, only 16 in the US. Received Grammy noms for Best Rock Performance by a Duo or Group with Vocal and Best Rock Song. It's included on the compilation album, The Best of 1990 through 2000, which has a lot of great songs on there. It has its origins in the sessions for the band's 1993 album, Zooropa, which when you hear the song, you can definitely see how it belongs there. Bono described it as being about being in a rock band and being a star. The title comes from a play on the classic song, Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, and it is actually visible along with the titles of other unfinished tracks on the album cover of Zooropa, written in purple text. Their involvement with the soundtrack began when director Joel Schumacher attempted to create a cameo role for Bono as Mephisto in Batman Forever, in which the character was intended to appear at a party scene. Although both tried to make the scene happen, they came to agree it was not suitable for the film. Instead, the U2 offered this as a contribution to the soundtrack. We are going to watch a video of this one, and I'll blow this one up full screen. U2 with a fantastic live performance. I have never went to a U2 concert. It's one of the things I wished I would have done at some point in my life, because every time I watch a concert vid, no matter when it's from, back in the day, it's 2011, so it's only a little over a decade old, just always put on this fantastic show. They really appreciate the art of the concert going. experience. So a fantastic choice at number one and a great representation of their talents as Bono and the Edge are bringing it there. One thing that always freaks me out in live performance, all the smoke around. If you've ever been around a smoke machine, it's a little hard to breathe. It gets in your throat a little bit. I guess these guys are just hardened to it, man, because to be able to go out there and bring it like that is fantastic. All right, so now we're going to come to my favorites. And, it's always weird on these because it's an artist listing, not a song listing. I go through the same thing when it's an album list, right? But we're playing songs, so I just kind of got to pick who my faves are. This is tough, right? Because Richard did a fantastic job picking the top 10 Irish artists. You're going to expect that they're all great, and they're all great. I mean, it's hard to even pick here. I guess my honorable mention will be Therapy, someone I did not know. And I mean, it's hard, like the Cranberries song, but then their artist, I don't know, man. I'm just, my absolute favorites, let's put it this way. I like them all. My absolute favorites are going to be U2, the Dubliners and the Pogues, the Cranberries, Phil, Whipping Boy. That's 5 of them. I don't know. Man, that Gilbert O'Sullivan's awesome. So you're seeing me just work this through, right? I'm not editing this. I'm just working through. I don't know, man. The whole list is great. What a fantastic offering from Richard. Really appreciate you curating this. I'm sure there's going to be some opinions on this, guy. So let me know what you think of this below. What else would you add? Come in softly, man. It's hard to put a list like this together, right? All right. Until next time, guys, I will see you.